We understand that not our experiences, and we're not our thoughts, we're not our emotions. And for a lot of people, we can understand that. You know, we sometimes we feel that we are totally, you know, when we feel bad, we forget that it's just an emotion that's happening. We think it's really this stuff, you know, that this is me, this emotion's me, that I feel bad or sad or angry or happy or fearful or whatever it might be. But again, if we see this from the point of view that we are consciousness, we are looking at this, we're able to say, hey, wait a minute. If I can see this emotion come up and I can look at it and then it falls away again, that can't be me. That can't be who I am. And it's the same way with the thought. You know, thoughts are coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. And, you know, that's just an experience that we have. And it's not who we are, again. And we have to say the same is true with, when we start analyzing these things, I'm going to streamline this whole thing a little bit more, but when we start analyzing it, we start to understand that we cannot be anything that is rising into our existence and falling away. So we cannot be anything that's impermanent. And that includes the body, that includes every aspect of everything that we see and experience, you know, that we hear. Everything in the world is not us. Now, granted, there is this oneness, you know, especially when when we're in love with somebody and we feel like there's so much a part of us and we're a part of them. I don't know if you got a chance to see the sunset tonight, at like 6:15. It was absolutely beautiful. Did anybody see that? It was just this beautiful stuff. It was beautiful red. I mean, it was huge. I mean, it was just incredible. It was just absolutely incredible. And, you know, you can stand there and look at that and go, wow, you know, and you stand in that state of presence, that present awareness, and you're alertly watching that, and the whole world stops for a moment. And then you start realizing that, wow, that sunset it's changing fast. And it did change very, very fast. Actually, I took a picture of it. I put something in the car and I turned around and it was different. That light, just like that. And it's changing. Everything is changing. Of course, the sunset's not there anymore. It's dark. And we can experience something in nature and we feel this oneness. And you know, so it's definitely there, but still, that is not who we are. We are the one that can identify that. You know, we are the one that can identify that we're resting in this presence when we notice this sunset, when we notice that we are in love, or that we notice this connection with some aspect of the world. And so if we keep that in mind, we start to understand that there is this spiritual aspect, you know. You know, these are realizations and understandings that a lot of people get. You know, they understand it, and they especially you know, meditators, because we give we give ourselves an opportunity to experience these things. When we meditate, we go into this stillness, and time kind of stops. You know, this presence is giving ourselves permission to set aside the past and the future, and we are just here. You know, we are very, very much in this presence. And the you know, the understanding that we are the witnesser. You know, we are the one that can witness all of this, and we don't have to have this body. We don't even things that we see and experience through these holes in our head isn't necessary. If you ever read any of Helen Keller's things that she has written, she was a very enlightened person, and she didn't have all the faculties we have. You know, she couldn't hear or talk or see or anything. So we don't really need these things, and we don't need the body to operate the way the body does. Steve Hawking, you know, could prove that. He was at one time a very average, normal person when he was young and going to school, and then he had what was that disease? That
ALS.
ALS, yeah, Lou Gehrig's disease, right? And everybody knows the story of David Hawking. Stephen Hawking. David Hawkins is another person, but I get those names turned around. But so the body is not who we are, and of course when we're young and we are very active and sports-minded, I guess, or whatever, we feel as if the body is totally, you know, me. You know, I hurt my finger, but then who's the person that says who owns this finger? I just said I hurt my finger. Who's the my that owns this? You know, and goes on, you know, down the rabbit hole.
You know, Shane, you're hooking into something I read last week so tightly I can't believe it.
Okay.
The situation in which a fellow said, instead of saying I'm angry, anger is present.
Right.
Rather than identifying that emotion as myself, awareness says anger is present, and now I'm aware of that.
Right. We are that awareness. Yeah. That's a very good analogy. There's so many different ways to, you know, put it out there. We are the one that can be aware. You know, I call it the witness. We are that aware alertness, and that is life. And life. So we are life, but life is that. Life is not. I mean, and life is, you know, all these other aspects, the things that we see and experience, and the body. This is life too, but when we back everything up, like the essence and what we are the one that can experience all of this, and we are the one that does not rise and fall into our awareness. We are always there, and. For many years, I was kind of tossing around so we are supposed to be impermanent. Why are we so special that we're impermanent and nothing else is? And it's not like we. It's the awareness itself, and we, you know, all these other things are just labels that we put on stuff, and. Awareness is not owned by one person. You know, I don't own this awareness that I am. That's impossible. And we're going back into this selfing thing, you know. And we can go round and round on this. But anyway, I wanted to do a meditation based on, you know, pointing that we are this aware alertness, you know, and that is life from our standpoint, and everything else is just experience. And it's all beautiful. It's a wonderful plan. It's the exact way it's supposed to be. So we'll start a meditation here, and I'm going to mute everybody for the meditation. That's what I always do. And then after the meditation, we'll see if there's any questions. We'll meditate until about 8 o'clock. And like I said, I'll mute everybody. So don't worry about noises or anything like that. And then afterwards, I will try to remember to unmute everybody, but you can unmute yourself. I'm talking about talking to people online here. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. And gently close the eyes. This meditation, again, has everything to do with both what we are and what we are not. With the eyes closed, bring your attention to the breath. And then when I say bring your attention to the breath, this can be any area of the breath, whatever you're most comfortable with. The tip of the nose, something like that. It could be in the sinuses. It could be your attention coming to the area of the throat or the abdomen, rising and falling of the stomach. Any aspect of breathing. We want to really connect with the breath. We're using the breath as a tool to bring ourselves into this place of present, or this state of presence. Now, being in presence is not being awake. It's not the awakened mind, but it gives us a good taste of it, of what it is. And as a meditator, we want to come into presence and then expand it as much as we can. And what I mean by expanding this presence is to expand these moments of pure awareness. And so when we bring our attention to the breath, or really any other meditation object, we're inviting ourselves to set aside really all elements of time. If we cannot be bothered by time, past and future, this eliminates a lot of the restlessness and worry and negative emotions that can accompany the element of time. It's not necessarily easy to do. And many times if people are new to meditation, they notice that their mind is very, very active, more active than they noticed before they tried to meditate. And this is common. But then the more we do meditate, and meditate consistently, the more we recognize this presence as a coming home, a place to rest, a place of mental clarity. And we use the breath, again, as a tool to come into this presence. So whenever we notice the mind wandering, if the sound takes our attention away, or a thought takes our attention away, or sensation in the body, whatever it might be, we recognize this and then we bring our attention back to the breath. It's really quite that simple. If we're having difficulty with our attention, with our level of concentration, we can enhance our ability to stay with the breath by counting the breaths. Something that a lot of people do, and it works very well for them. Sometimes we can use visualization aids, visualizing the top of the inhalation or the bottom of the exhalation. We can combine visualizing with numbering the breath and actually visualize the number of each breath as we breathe in and breathe out. And doing things like this is really another part of meditation. Sometimes it seems so simple and so basic, we wonder if we're doing it correctly. But if we are recognizing that state of presence, where the past and the future are set aside or put or placed into the background, and we're trying to expand on that, then we're doing our meditation correctly. With the eyes closed and very few sounds in the room, comfortable temperature, very few tastes or smells, we're allowing ourselves to sit in a pretty close to an ideal environment, where the sensual or the sense objects, sense pleasures are very minimal. And we do this so our practice will be easier. Particularly after the guiding of the meditation when we sit in silence. It's very valuable to have a quiet room and perfect conditions. But really all we're doing is trying to pick up a lesson. We're setting up the classroom for us to understand that none of this is us. And this is actually good news. So the things that we experience within the mind, the visualizations, of course we could understand that these things are not who we are. They're just visualizations. The imagination, if we want to call it that. Imagery. In the same way, when we dream at night, these dreams, they seem real. And it seems like we're having these experiences. And our mind probably doesn't know the difference between the dream and the awakened state from the standpoint of actually believing it or not. But when we wake up, we say, oh, that was an interesting experience that I had. And then we forget it pretty quickly and go on throughout our day, which is very similar to the day we had before. New experiences, different time. And all of these things are coming and going. An experience comes into our awareness and then it falls away in the next experience. Sometimes they seem like they overlap. Hundreds, if not thousands, of experiences happening each day. Maybe each moment. But that's not really who we are. I mean, it forms memories. It makes emotions. We have feelings. Many mind objects come out of our experience, out of our days, and the experiences that we have throughout life. But they're all coming and going. None of them stay. So even if we take all these experiences, we can still not say that this is who we are, these experiences. And so there's really no aspect of the mind, perception, what we perceive, feelings, all the many mind objects, including mind states or emotions, moods. These things come and go. So there's no aspect of the mind that we could say is permanent, or that is us, is who we are. And that leaves the body. Many people think we are the body, and sometimes we feel that this is what we are. We take care of it. We look at it in the mirror. We can see parts of it. We've never actually really seen our face. We've seen reflections of it, and we've never seen the back of our head, for example. Just reflections in the mirror. for the most part, we're walking around in a body with a face that we've never seen. But we trust the mirrors that we look at. And we trust the lighting. And we trust our eyesight sometimes. But the body, just like the mind, it comes and goes. Our lifespan is very brief when we look at one lifetime, each individual lifetime. And so none of this we can really, when we truly investigate it, we can not call any of it who we are, but there is this aspect of us that does the investigation, that can look at all of this. And again, this is the alert awareness. This is the aspect of what we referred to as life a little earlier. This alertness, this awareness, and it's experienced in presence. This presence that we can have and experience in meditation. It gives us a taste of it. And what I mean by giving a taste of it, it allows us to really connect with it, but it's always there. Awareness is always there. It never leaves and it never changes. Memories change, our ability to memorize and remember things, that changes. But the awareness, like that spark of life, is always shining, it's always there. And difficult to prove, but many believe that it never burns out, that it continues. And there are people that have reported and remember their aspects of their awareness from past experiences, past lives, in other words. And that's a whole nother topic. So sit in meditation. Use the breath as a tool to sit in this presence. And this presence is pointing all of this to you, so you don't have to take my word for it or the word of anybody else's or anything that you've read or heard or anything. You just have to trust your own experience. That's the only way that you'll ever really know and understand who and what you are. This is ultimate reality. Ultimate reality teachings is pointing you to your true self, your true identity, your true nature, your Buddha nature. Alertness, awareness, consciousness, whatever you like to label it. All words. If you would like to bring your hands together in front of you, we'll conclude with a little metta practice. May each one of us and all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to us. May no difficulties come to us. May we all meet with spiritual and worldly success. And may we have the patience, the courage, and the understanding to meet and overcome any problems or any difficulties that we might face. Thank you.